In the late 1970s to the early 1980s, audiences were introduced to a number of adaptations of Japanese anime shows, including Japanese classics like Gigantor, Astro Boy, and Speed Racer, which were very popular animated shows during the 1960s. As a child of the 70s and 80s, I was introduced to Japanese animation by one particular series titled Battle of the Planets, which was an American adaptation based on the famous Japanese animated series Science Ninja Team Gatchaman, which was a series created by Tatsuo Yoshida at Tatsunoko Studios that ran in 1972 for 105 episodes. In April of 1977, a producer named Sandy Frank, while at a TV conference at Cannes, thought the series Science Ninja Team Gatchaman was the perfect series to adapt for an American audience through his production company, Sandy Frank Entertainment, who had produced a number of TV shows throughout the 1960s and the 1970s, from The Dating Game to The New Treasure Hunt. Frank acquired the rights to Gatchaman at the cost of just over $5 million, which would give him international rights to the animated series for 30 years. Frank assembled a team of Hanna-Barbera graduates to create a faithful adaptation of the original series. The creative team originally wanted to adapt all 105 episodes, but Tatsunoko Studios had only offered to send their last 20 reels later into production. However, Sandy Frank decided that 85 episodes were adequate enough. After seeing the amazing success of Star Wars in 1977, Frank wanted to capitalize and play on the themes of Star Wars, and would retitle the series Battle of the Planets. And in response to the success of Star Wars, he would even add a robot to the story, who was sort of a mix of the droids R2-D2 and C-3PO. The basic premise of Battle of the Planets was about a group called G-Force, who is made up of 5 young people in skin-tight bird suits: Mark, Jason, Princess, Keop, and Tiny, who all have enhanced abilities and powers. G-Force protect the Earth from ongoing attacks from the evil planet of Spectra, led by Zoltar. The planet Spectra is a dying planet which has used up all of its natural resources, who seek to steal ours. G-Force are monitored from an underwater defense base under the sea off the west coast of America called Center Neptune by a robot named 7-Zark-7, who receives information from a feminine-sounding computer called Susan on Pluto. 7-Zark-7 also has a robot dog named 1Rover-1. Sandy Frank and his team, the animation studio Gallery International, would make up a number of additions and changes to his adaptation, adding all new footage, rewriting storylines, while toning down the graphic violence, editing out the graphic blade decapitations from the existing Japanese anime series to keep the series more child-friendly. Civilian deaths were edited out, especially the scenes where densely populated cities are attacked, with one character explaining that the city has been evacuated, to give the young viewers that reassurance that no one was hurt or killed. Deaths of the henchmen were also cut, with fight scenes heavily edited. The character 7-Zark-7 was also added to fill in a lot of the gaps left behind by edits to provide clear transition in the episodes. Frank would also add to the series an exciting new theme tune and score by Hoyt Curtin, who rescored a number of sequences within the episodes, providing background music which would be reused for other episodes. Interesting to note that the original series, which Battle of the Planets was based on, would rely heavily on sound effects instead of the music. The main ship of the G-Force team was called the Phoenix, which would in every episode transform into a fiery bird-shaped spacecraft, whose main weapon were missiles called the TBX missiles. Other weapons on the Phoenix included a solar-powered energy blaster. There are also various hidden weapons. The Phoenix would also work as a transport ship which would hold 4 smaller vehicles inside, each operated by one team member. The 4 vehicles included Jason's race car, while Princess rode the Galacta Cycle. Cheop's Space Bubble was an all-terrain vehicle which was capable of hovering, taking off and landing, as well as being a submersible craft. Mark would pilot a jet plane. Tiny, the 5th crew member, was usually assigned to pilot the Phoenix. The bird-like costumes of G-Force include wing-like capes, which would enable G-Force to drift or glide down to safety from great heights. G-Force would often stay in touch by using a wristband communicator device, which would also transform the team instantly into their civilian clothes, out of their uniform. The weapons of the various team members included Mark's sonic boomerang, a bird-shaped boomerang with razor-sharp wings. Jason and Tiny used multi-purpose gadget guns, which have grappling hooks, and Cheop and the Princess use yo-yo bombs. Other weapons included feathers with a sharpened steel quill that could be used as throwing darts and mini grenades. Other additions to the series included an all-new ready room, which was added so the G-Force team could hang out. G-Force have a trademark catchphrase: dedicated, inseparable, invincible. In the episodes, Zoltar received orders directly from a being he would refer to as the Great Spirit, or the Luminous One. The character's name was originally going to be named X, but that idea was dropped. Zoltar's female self was adapted into 4 separate named characters. Firstly, as a spy named Hannah, then as a reporter named Miss Ostrich, then as another spy known as Agent S9, and finally as Zoltar's sister, Mala, in the episode The Galaxy Girls. But before the appearance of any of these characters, Red Impulse was rewritten as Colonel Cronus, a mentor and old friend of Mark's. Interesting to note that Mark, later in the series, finds out that Colonel Cronus is in fact his father. The series was dubbed in North Hollywood, California, and would feature a number of well-known voice talents from various Hanna-Barbera productions. Mark was voiced by US radio personality Casey Kasem, who voiced countless animated characters throughout the 70s and 80s. Most notably, though, he is known for voicing Shaggy in the Hanna-Barbera animated series Scooby-Doo, Princess, and the computer Susan that interacts with Seven's Arc 7 was voiced by Janet Waldo, a radio and voice actress who is famous for voicing such beloved characters of Hanna-Barbera like Judy Jetson, Penelope Pitstop, and Josie in Josie and the Pussycats.
It was wonderful in animation to work with such brilliant actors, and I learned from them. I learned everything that I could, and that'll be perfect. So I learned that you had to sort of exaggerate everything with cartoons. One of the things that I love about Battle of the Planets is that Alan Deinhardt let me play so many, many other voices. I was hired for Princess, but he let me play, I heard one the other day where I was Princess, Susan, a mother, a little boy, and I don't know, some other bad woman character.
Tiny Harper was voiced by Alan Deinhardt. Other voice actors on the show included Key Luke as Zoltar, the Spirit, and Colonel Cronus, while Alan Young voiced Seven's Arc 7. Young was a beloved actor known for his roles on The Time Machine in 1960 as Philby, and starred in the hit 1960s series Mr. Ed. Battle of the Planets would debut on TV on September the 1st of 1978 and was the most successful anime series in the US during the 1970s and was a clear hit. Internationally, the original series Battle of the Planets was based on was still very successful in Japan and would spawn a further 100 episodes in 2 sequels, titled Science Ninja Team Gatchaman 2 and Science Ninja Team Gatchaman Fighter in 1979. In 1986, Gatchaman was reworked in the US as G-Force Guardians of Space by Turner, with a good deal of the original content that was edited out of Battle of the Planets put back into the series. Missing was Hoyt Curtin's original score with an all-new voice lineup of voice actors. However, this particular version was heavily criticised by fans of both Gatchaman and Battle of the Planets. A comic book adaptation of the series was created, firstly through Gold Key Comics, which took a number of liberties, making more alterations on top of the ones that already existed. And in the comic, G-Force would transfer into different objects or forces to disguise themselves or attack in a different way. The artwork was also inconsistent, as well as having a number of colouring errors. There was also a Battle of the Planets comic strip in the British TV comic, which reprinted some of the Gold Key stories for 2 Battle of the Planets holiday specials and a Battle of the Planets annual, which also reprinted some of the Gold Key stories. Battle of the Planets was later revamped by Top Cow Productions in 2002, which attempted to blend the Battle of the Planets continuity with the original Gatchaman series, with 7's Arc 7 and the computer, Susan, cut out completely. Keop also speaks normally. Battle of the Planets, the movie, a 70-minute compilation film, was created by Sandy Frank Film Syndication and Gallery International Films in 2002. It utilised footage from several different episodes and had a new voice actor named David Brent Egan dubbing over Alan Young's dialogue for the 7's Arc 7 sequences, with the rest of the footage containing the original voice actor's audio. Scenes of civilian violence and death were also included. This project was, however, scrapped. Sandy Frank would then focus his efforts on arranging an uncut dub of the original Gatchaman series instead. There have even been many plans to do a feature-length live-action film based on the franchise through Warner Brothers, but that project was cancelled. However, it was announced at the San Diego Comic-Con in July of 2019 that the Russo brothers were going to produce and direct a live-action Battle of the Planets film. We will wait and see. Battle of the Planets is an animated classic and made a big impression on me as a kid. With its massive success in the US and around the world, Battle of the Planets really made Japanese anime popular, bringing it to the forefront of popular culture. My name's Jonathan. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy this video, please remember to subscribe if you haven't already. And if you like what you see on my channel and would like to support me on Patreon, click on the link below.